What's poppin', boys? We back again with another one. Let me check and make sure it's recording because lately I haven't been trusting this recording thing. Okay, we recording, we live. That's great. It would have sucked if I had to talk for like 30 minutes and shit's not even recording. I'd be very, very upset, guys. Anyways, should have did this before I even started. Back again with another one. As you guys can see, we're outside today. Today is a really, really beautiful day here in Ontario. Gotta stay hydrated. But we back with another one, guys. As you know, I made my script. Let's dive into it. Today we're gonna be talking about why being too available is killing your personal value and the respect that people have for you, right? Being too available it just tells people that you're like people use you, when you're too available, right? So let's dive into it. When you're too available, you bleed authority. You say yes to every little thing. Like you every little mediocre invitation to go out for dinner, to go have lunch, to go out, play games, whatever. I'm not saying any of these things are bad, but saying yes too often makes you like a guarantee, and you never want to have people guarantee that you're going to be somewhere, guarantee without, you should be your only guarantee. Someone shouldn't be able to guarantee and be like, yeah, he's going to be there, without knowing, without checking with you first, so you really bleed authority in that sense. Like authority is one thing that people respect authority, and people have respect for the authorities, not necessarily talking about the police or whatever, but like when you're an authoritarian figure, people have respect for you. And if you're always there, then you're bleeding that authority, right? People stop treating your presence as a rare commodity, and they start treating you more like an item that's on sale, or like a clearance item. That's a better example. People start treating you more like a clearance item, where they know, like, like you're cheap, you're not worth. It's not that you're not worth it, but like you're like the second option, or you're gonna be there. You're gonna be there until I need you, or until I choose or I pick for you. Don't be constantly accessible. That's what I'm trying to get at. Don't always be there when people call, when people holler, whatever. You want to force other people to earn your time, right? Because at the end of the day, that's what's going to make people respect you more, and people have more value for you as a person, right? Self-respect is valuing your own time, and if you're always there when someone is like calling for you or needs you, like obviously your family is different, whatever. People who are close to your loved ones are different, whatever. But just if you're just there every time someone needs you, then that's low self-respect. And when you have low self-respect for yourself, then why should others have self-respect for you, right? Over availability will systematically destroy the respect that people have for you. So let's talk about the hard truth, and let's call some stuff out. What you think is, or what many people think is, that being responsive is helpful and is making other people like you, right? That's not the case, right? It's actually the reason why people have stopped respecting you, right? The more responsive being responsive is like a double-edged sword. It's good to be responsive to the right type of people, right? But if you're just responsive to everyone, if you're always like, that person there where people know they can guarantee a reply from you, like, then there's no real reason to respect you, or respect your time, or respect the time that they communicate with you, or get in contact with you, or get in touch with you, or whatever, right? Because it's your job to be there at all times, and that's what other people will think, right? That's what other people will essentially think if you're always there at all times, in a world of psychology, your presence follows the law of supply and demand, right? This world is a lot of mind games, people playing mind games with each other, people playing mind games with themselves, like law and life basically follow these basic economics, right? And it's like like supply and demand. The more you give out the supply, the less demand there is for supply, right? So it's a metaphor, obviously, but like the more available you make yourself is the less people want your availability, or the less people treat your availability. You know, it's like $100 bill compared to pennies. You know, when you are everywhere, you're pretty much worth nothing, essentially, right? Yeah, stop treating your time as an unlimited resource, because you bleed authority, right? Don't be everywhere. Don't be available all the time. Don't be easy to get in touch with, you know, because that just tells people that you're not really you're not really being an authoritarian, right? And again, right, this doesn't apply to everybody. This doesn't apply to your family members, to the people that you care about, to your loved ones. This is just for people who, you know, like everybody that isn't your family member, loved one, whatever, they need to be, this is for them. This applies to them, right? Everybody that's just like your friends and the people that you see every day, people who waste your time, people who, like, you know, like, I'm not saying your friends waste your time, but I'm just saying, for example, like, you know, like, you could be doing other things, right? But instead you're with these type of people, and it's not that you're not gaining anything for sure, right? But you also don't have anything to lose, right? And when you don't stand to gain anything, then you stand to lose everything, right? Yeah, you know, so today I'm going to show you guys how to withdraw from being so accessible and force others to kind of like earn your respect, right? So the first thing you want to do is you're going to want to interrupt the daily pattern, interrupt the pattern that you've set in motion, interrupt what everybody's already expecting of you, right? Believe it or not, doing nothing is going to be the fastest way to rebuild your reputation, right? So when people message you, when people reach out to you, hey, do you want to hang out? Hey, what are you doing this Friday? I made plans, blah, blah, blah. Do nothing. Don't respond to them. Don't reply. Don't open their message, you know. Being constantly available is the killer of your respect. It's the killer of your self-respect, because it signals to people that your time has no real value, you know. You don't want to be constantly there. You don't want to constantly be available. You're not their moms. You're not responsible for anybody, right? So why should you always be there for someone when there's not much to be gained from it, right? Break that bad habit of being the safe bet. Learn to kind of foster or create an environment of a strategic absence. You know, you hang out with your friends today. Maybe you want to give them a break for like about 1-2 weeks, you know? Maybe 2 weeks is too long. Okay, maybe give them a break for like 5 days, you know? It's not even a whole week, right? But it's 5 business days. So people know that, like, okay, I can hang out with this guy once a week, right? That means that whenever we do plan to hang out, whenever we do decide to do something, it has to be something worthwhile, right? Have a strategic absence, right? Be strategic about your time, right? Okay, now we're going to talk about what I like to call the psychology of the open door, right? Compare yourself to like gold. In this age that we live in, of technology and digital, like, hyper accessibility, everybody being hyper accessible. You go on Instagram shows that you're online. You go on WhatsApp, you can see that the person's online. Facebook, everything shows that you're online and you're ready, you're available to talk to, right? You want to be like gold in this day and age, right? So you don't want to be responding instantly to people, right? That trains them to treat you more like a tool rather than as a gift, you know, like as a blessing. You want people to see you as a blessing. You want people to see that you being in their lives is actually such a good thing. It's so beneficial for them. So don't respond instantly, right? If somebody messages you on Instagram or whatever, take some time to take some thought, whatever, you know, like take some time to respond. You don't have to respond instantly. It's not a must-have, right? Stop falling for the notification trap, which is turn your Instagram settings, turn all your social media settings to stop showing that you're online constantly. Set it to away, set it to offline. People don't want to know you don't want people to know when you're online, right? That creates this kind of like absence, this strategic absence that we're talking about, where you kind of take a step back, but you're still there, but people have to like you get the time to respond, and you get to respond in your own time and on your own terms, right? So turn off those notifications that show that you're online on WhatsApp, on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok. I don't know. I don't fucking use TikTok. Probably should. But yeah, turn off all of those notifications, guys. Yeah, stop being online constantly. It really signals a lack of personal priorities. It signals that you don't really have anything to prioritize in your life. That's why I'm always seeing you online every single time I go on Instagram, you know? The cost of being the infinite yes. Stop saying yes to everything, every handout, every link up, every meetup. It really dilutes your authority as a person. It really dilutes your respect when you're always saying yes to people and you're always there. You're always willing to go and link up. You're always willing to go ball up. You're always willing to go for a session, whatever. Stop saying yes to all of that. Like, say yes less often. Not saying say no all the time, but get used to saying no. Get comfortable saying no. You know, no is a really good word. No protects your self-respect for yourself. No tells people to respect you as a person. No tells people that you got the balls and you don't care really about what's going on with them. It's really your life revolves around you first. That's why you say no, you know? So yeah, you know, you get burnt out when you focus on everyone else and you leave your own personal agenda that still needs working on, right? That's what happens when you say yes too often to everybody, right? When you lack boundaries, people will cross them more often and they'll care less every time, right? So you want to set those boundaries, and this is what this whole video is about, really. Like, you're setting these boundaries where people know, like, okay, you're gonna take some time to respond, you know, like, so we got to plan things out thoroughly, and we got to make sure that we're doing like the best thing, you know, we're doing something interactive, so we're not wasting your time, we're not wasting my time, because people value their own time. And if you're hanging with the type of people that don't value their own time, then you're hanging with the wrong set of people, right? Yeah, master the art of the strategic withdrawal. Create periods in your schedule where you're just like not available, like you're unavailable. Kind of like when you're at work, right? You're unavailable to work. So people have to work around your schedule when you're at work because you're not available that day. You're not available at that time, right? Create those holes or gaps in your schedule if you don't already have them. If you're self-employed and you make your own schedule, create time in your schedule where you're just not really willing to see anyone, right? Make sure you make those times, right? Observe the shift in power dynamics. Like, as soon as you start implementing these kind of things, you'll be able to see, like, not even in like overnight, almost like a week or so, you'll be able to notice that people start treating you different, right? People start respecting your time. People start taking you more seriously, right? And you start having more power in the conversation. Not power as in like you can do more. Well, yes, you'll be able to do more, but like power in the sense that you're able to dictate and control the flow of the conversation and the way things go, because everything is based around your schedule, right? Everything is based around your life, right? Not based around somebody else or what they determine or what you just saying yes, yes, yes all the time, right? When you move from being reactive to being proactive, you become a leader of your own time, right? I'll say that again. When you move from being a reactive person to being proactive, you become a leader of your own time. Be a leader of your own time, right? Don't let other people lead your time or other people waste your time, right? Yeah, you know, look at many well-respected people who are really respected in whatever industry they are. I know I'm going to throw out a lot of famous names here, but like, look at famous musicians, famous movie stars, look at, you know, like famous business people, look at all those famous people, and like, think about how hard it is to get just even like an hour with them, you know, or 30 minutes with them. Their time is very valuable. They value their time. And their time didn't just become valuable overnight. They always valued their time. That's why they put all their time into their business, into their music, into their career, into their profession. And that's why they are where they are now. And that's why their time is now even more valuable than ever, right? Yeah, so make a plan. design a framework, design something that's going to work for you, you know. Identify which people are benefiting too much from your availability, basically the people who are using you, right? Then your mutual respect, right? Relationships should more often than not be quid pro quo. Nothing's wrong with being used, but there's something wrong with being abused, right? So identify the people who benefit a lot from being around you. Like whether you pick this person up, whether you like ball this person up, you smoke them up, you know, like you ball them up all the time, you know, you bring them this place, you bring them that place, you know, or you do things for them and they don't really do anything for you in return. Take more time when they message you. Take the time to take your time before you respond. You know, sometimes you want to give it a couple hours, maybe you even give it a day, you know, and it gives you a lot of time to reflect and really control the situation and control how things happen and how you go about your day, you know. Yeah, so create almost like a waiting time for those people, for non-urgent online communication or just non-urgent communications in general. Create a waiting time where this person you wait a specific amount of time before you decide to respond to this person, because this person really, you already know what they're getting at, you already know what they're going to do, you already know what they want. You know, they don't really want to do anything productive or talk about shit that's going to build you or make you a better person. They just want to waste your time, essentially, right? And the more you hang with that person and you realize these things, the more you'll feel offended or insulted because they're just wasting your time, right? Learn how to say to these people without coming off rude or like elitist, you know, like that, you know, like I can't be doing this all the time, right? And this really comes from like a shift in your mindset. You really have to shift your mindset to my time is now more, my time is valuable. Like you always valued your time, but you didn't realize how much time you were, let's not say wasting, but you have to really word it properly. You can't just say how much time you're wasting, how much things you could have done with the time that you have now, right? With the times that you've been hanging out. There's so many more things that you could have been doing, or there's so many more productive things that you should be doing, right? You can't come off as elitist or like I'm better than you. You gotta be like, look, man, I'm struggling here. I really need to have more time to get this and this and this and these things done, right? Any reasonable friend should understand that you have to put your own priorities first. You're not telling them that I'm better than you, so I don't want to hang out anymore. You know, I really have to get my stuff done first because it matters to me, right? And any friend that doesn't value the things that matter to you is no friend for you, you know? You know, so in the end, you just want to reclaim your status and reclaim your authority and reclaim the respect people have for you with a scarcity mindset, with being very scarce, you know? You'll feel like almost overnight you'll notice that people will start treating you differently, you know? This is just a shift in mindset and mentality, right? Where you go from like being available all the time to being like, you know, like to not being like a weekly thing, to not being like, you know, like I can link up with you like this very moment. It's something where like, you know, you grew up in high school and that's how you're raised with your high school friends, where, you know, we're gonna link up or this, that. But no, bro, you're in the real world now. So things have to change and you have to move accordingly, right? There's nothing wrong with going out every once in a while, but like you have to have like an organized schedule, and people have to respect your schedule, because if people don't respect your schedule, then they're not going to respect the person who made the schedule, which is you, you know? Yeah, so try these things out, make a framework, make a plan for yourself, you know, figure out how shit's going to work, because if you don't respect yourself, other people aren't going to respect you, right? So you have to really decrease how available you are to other people, so other people can start recognizing and realizing how valuable you are to them, right? So yeah, you know, people will start treating your yeses, people will start giving more weight to your yeses now, because they're so scared. They've heard your no's, right? They'll value the yes, the times when you do say yes now, they'll value them much more, because they've heard so much no from you, right? So yeah, you know, if you guys enjoyed this video, like and comment. Let the algorithm know this is the kind of stuff you want to see. Comment below any type of videos you'd like me to make. You know, today's a beautiful day. I think I'm gonna go out for a walk, you know, grab some coffee, do whatever, you know. But stop being so available and stop being so ready to do things all the time, you know, especially with the wrong people. But yeah, it's your boy Tavon Talks. Peace out. Okay, let's see if this thing stopped recording. Nope, it didn't.